Hey, welcome back. My name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking skills so that they can give winning high stakes speeches, whether it's for job interviews, business or sales meetings, or even at a conference in front of a large audience. Or it could be just about any interaction with people. One more thing, as I mentioned in my recent videos, is that I will have a book out hopefully by the end of September titled Winning Speech Moments. And there I go into essentially three main ideas: content, message, and performance. And I'll talk more about it, but I just want to give you a heads up that all the stuff that I'm talking about, that there's a foundation behind it, a book that's coming out. So all these videos that I'm recording here, a lot of it obviously you can't include, but some of it I have included in the book that I'd like to keep on. Give it to you in a different dimensions of it. So today I have a thought of the day, and this is a thought, since it didn't fit into any of the category, it may later on, but right now I'm going to call it thought of the day. And it has to do with a lot of people totally do not capture things that are happening in their lives. And there are three E's that I like to use that whenever, and I've been doing this diligently, so I just wanted to record this video, and it's just amazing how much information you soak in every day. And then the question is, what are you doing with it? So when people say, I have nothing to say, well, that's not true. You will have nothing to say unless you're just sleeping all day. And even then you'll have something to say because you have dreams. So that's completely a non-starter when you say I have nothing to say. You have a lot to say. You just don't want to say it, or you haven't thought about what you're saying it. But there are three things you can do as part of your practice, so turn this into a habit. And if you notice that the videos that I've recently recorded have all been based on either my experience, my experiment, and that's it, and maybe some research. But research is very little actually. Lately it's been all experience and experimentation. So those are the three E's actually. The three E's are the following. You have to experience something. It could be anything. It's something that you don't even have to go out of the way. Something just happens to you. Like I went to get something from a store, they botched the order, and then that turned into an experience that I can document and even record a video. Or there could be something that I may want to experiment, and I can say, hey, here's how it went. And then you have to evaluate it. After you experience something, what was the message here? How would you have fixed it? After you experiment something, whether it's conversing with somebody, hey, how did it go? What could you have done better? What if it? So there are all these different paths you can take in your head so that next time you're even better prepared and you're developing your muscle on how to handle different situations when it's experience, whether it's experiment, and how do you evaluate it? Like you got to know how to evaluate it, and then what do you do with all that? And that's what this video is all about. So let's start with the first one, experience. This is something we all go through. I mean, this is an experience. I'm recording this video. Hey, I could talk about it. That I recorded this video, that I'm going to talk about experience. That's an experience. I'm talking about it. So that's an experience, and this happens to you every day. Whether you get out of bed, you brush your teeth, take a shower, everything is an experience. The question is, what are you doing with it? And I come up with so many thoughts in my shower that sometimes I just like wish I'd never could get out of shower and just record all of it. I don't do that, and then half of them I'll forget. I try not to. I jot it down, and I haven't found a waterproof audio recorder yet. Until that happens, it's a kind of a little difficult right now. So experience is something you control. You have all that. Every day, document it. It could be customer service, could be sales, could be anything. You drive to the movie theater, drive to a restaurant, everything is an experience. What was the restaurant service like? That's an experience. Anything you experience, you can document, capture it. Then you have something to say about it, okay? But pay attention to it. Experience is very important. We all experience things. You don't have to go out to some remote island to experience something. You experience just getting out of your house every day. Even being in your house, there's an experience. Watching TV is an experience. Watching a YouTube video is an experience. Watching this video is an experience. Probably not good, but it's an experience anyway. Okay. So I think we covered the experience. Let's get to the next one. Experiment. Now, this is a tricky one. Well, maybe not so tricky. This requires a little thought. Sometimes you can experiment ahead of time. You can create an experiment ahead of time, and sometimes you just don't have that much time, and you have to kind of create a quick experiment on the fly. Now, when I say experiment, I'm talking about interacting with people or experimenting with something you're doing in business, but you got to have that experiment mindset. Like, I'm going to experiment this. So, for example, when you go for a job interview, you should view that as an experiment. It's both an experience and an experiment. The one thing you don't want to do is bring your personal self into that job interview, because that's the worst, because now the experience and the experiment kind of gets all jumbled, and you have no way of learning from it. So the whole purpose of experience, experiment, and evaluation is to learn, right? So you're piling up some wisdom here. So getting back to the experiment again, and I'm kind of drifting here, but bear with me. There could be a simple experiment. So I'll give you an example of an experiment. This is kind of trivial. And I was walking in the park, and there was a young couple, or maybe they were teenagers, I don't know. They were throwing football around, a boy and a girl. And I saw them throwing the ball, and I thought, okay, I need to experiment something. I said I could just pass by and just say hi. They were having fun, so this wasn't. And the girl was pretty good at throwing the ball, and she was obviously throwing it to her boyfriend, I assume, because I didn't really have a conversation. But I said, okay, I'm going to pass by. I'm going to pass by them. I can say hi to them, hi, or I can say something more. So I said, okay, what do I say? What do I say? So I said, let me experiment something. So I said, oh, since they're playing football and she can throw the ball, here's what I'm going to do. As I pass by, I'm going to comment to her that, uh, something about you should, the Jets could, oh, that's exactly what I said. The New York Jets, that's my football team here in New Jersey area, they're terrible. They've been terrible for a while now. According to some people, they've been terrible since 1969. But anyway, I don't want to get into that discussion here. New York just don't have a quarterback. So as I was walking past her, I said, New York Jet. I was just pointing to her. I said, New York Jets could use you as their quarterback. And and then the boyfriend said, oh, the football team. I said, yes. I said, the three guys that are competing, you're better than the three guys that they're competing for the job. And that's it. She started, laughing, and the boyfriend started laughing, and I walked right past. Now you might say, well, what does that have to do with it? A lot, I think, because I was experimenting. How do I engage with people? How do I engage with people? This was very contextual. They have a football in their hand. She's throwing the ball, so obviously they have some interest in football. And also at the same time, I wanted to kind of engage with them. Now, I just walked past. I didn't stick around. If I wanted to, I could have, but it would have been kind of out of place because, they're having fun. I don't want to intrude on their fun time. But that was an experiment. I wanted to see that if I had to engage with somebody else in the future, I got the reaction I wanted. She started laughing. The boyfriend started laughing. And that's it. I moved on. That was the end of it. They probably liked it, saying, hey, somebody recognized us. We're playing football. Hey, the people here are nice. So there's a lot of good feeling that you can create feelings in people with the experimentation that you do. Or I could have just walked by, not said anything, just like a lot of other people. But that's where you have to be different. You have to experiment. Every opportunity every situation, there's an opportunity for you to experiment. If you don't take advantage of it, you're not going to learn anything. So that was one. So that's what I try to do. Whenever I see somebody in a contextual situation, I will try to engage with them and see how far I can take the conversation. Sometimes it could be as long as an hour. So that's part of my experimentation. And then I come home and evaluate it as I'm doing it right now, sort of. Hey, could I have said anything different? With this one, those young couple playing football, I don't think so. I think that's all I wanted to do, and I got what I wanted to do. But there are situations where I say something that doesn't go well, and then I'll come back and evaluate it. It's like, hey, what could I have done different? What could I have done different? And that's how I learn. That's how I develop the muscle. So these are three simple E's: experience, evaluate, experiment, and evaluate. Try that. That's what I do. And if you have that attitude, that mindset, There's a lot you can learn from, so that everything you're reading immediately applies to your experience. And also you can create different experiment based on something you have read, whether it's a sales tip or customer service tip or a speech tip or a job interview tip. That's how you become smarter. This is the mindset you have to be in. And then you have to evaluate it and see, okay, how do I make it better? How do I make it better? And that's how you grow as a person, and even perhaps as a entrepreneur, perhaps. Okay, so if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and most important, criticism, I'm open to it. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your next experience and experiment.